Last time, we learned some new rules that let us quickly compute the derivatives of some functions. We learned the power rule, the sum and difference rules, and how to take the derivative of an exponential function. Now, we're going to learn how to take the derivative of a product of functions and the quotient of functions. We'll start with the product. The product rule says that if you want to take the derivative of f of x times g of x, you do the derivative of f of x times g of x plus f of x times the derivative of g of x. Again, just like with the power rule, it's helpful to remember this as a process. When doing the product rule, we identify our first and our second functions. To do the product rule, we take the derivative of the first function and we leave the second function alone, multiplying them together, plus leaving the first function alone multiplied by the derivative of the second function. Let's do an example. If we want to take the derivative of 3x plus 4 times x minus 1, we could FOIL it, then use the power rule. We could also use the product rule. Our first function is 3x plus 4, and the second function is x minus 1. So when we take the derivative, we get 3 times x minus 1 plus 3x plus 4 times 1. Notice if we simplify this, we get the same answer. As another example, let's say we want to take the derivative of x squared plus 3x plus 6 times 2x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3x plus 1. We could again expand this, but this would be a huge pain. Instead, let's use the product rule. Taking the derivative of x squared plus 3x plus 6, we get 2x plus 3, and we multiply that by the second function. Then, we add on x squared plus 3x plus 6 times the derivative of the second function, which is 6x squared minus 8x plus 3. Notice my parentheses here. If I forget them, this changes the function entirely, leading to the wrong answer. You may be wondering what we do next. Well, this is the derivative, so we can just box it and move on. Unless the problem says to simplify completely, this is a fine final answer. Last example of the product rule. Suppose f of x equals e to the x over square root of x, and I want to find f prime of x. You might be thinking, hey, we're supposed to be using the product rule, and this looks like a quotient. Well, sure, but we can represent this function differently. Since dividing by something with an exponent is the same thing as multiplying with the negative exponent, we can represent this as x to the minus 1/2 times e to the x. Now we can take the derivative using the product rule. The derivative of this is minus 1/2 times x to the minus 3/2 times e to the x plus x to the minus 1/2 times e to the x. Notice here that I get minus 3/2 by taking minus 1/2 minus 1. And in the second part, I've taken the derivative of e to the x, which is e to the x.